When you think of a city, you think of the five senses. These make up a city, and this was the idea behind Week 3. Looking through the various articles and videos, we came to the conclusion how important our senses have an impact on the way we view our urban environment. So our overall objective is to provide clear and impactful information based on the readings and other takeaways. So my first article from the file was Kevin Lynch's The Image of a City. His exploration of how individuals perceive and navigate urban environments are very important. He introduced the concept, the quality that makes a city legible. Part I found interesting was how he said the landmarks are prominent features that serve as reference points, such as iconic buildings or other landmarks. He also argued that cities with a strong image offer residents a sense of identity and belonging. The idea of a more imaginable cities give a sense of attachment to its residents, while it's also contributing to the community's well-being. His insights have profound implications for urban design and planning. His principles have been applied to numerous urban design projects worldwide and influence many of the cities and neighborhoods we know today. For some real-world examples, we can look at New York City's Times Square and how urban design can create a vibrant and memorable urban experience. To conclude what I have gathered from this article, The Image of a City, it provides valuable insights into how we navigate the urban landscape by realizing the urban experience and guiding some urban design practices. As cities continue to evolve and grow, these same principles that were outlined in this article remain relevant for creating the future of urban environments. So I also found an article titled Why Sounds and Smells Are as Vital to the Cities as the Sites. This is by Jennifer Hattem of the MIT Technology Review. And this article discusses how a man in Istanbul researches locations where vegetation could be planted to dampen traffic noise or where a wave organ could be constructed to amplify the soothing sound of the sea, something he was surprised to realize people could hardly hear even along the waterfront. Through this research, different people have given their perspective on what they see and how it contributes to their ideal urban landscape. Lastly, this article discusses Deakin University in Australia, where architecture professor Bo Baza is aiming for full immersion. His team is adding sounds and eventually smells and textures to virtual reality environments that city officials can use to present planning projects to stakeholders. His philosophy is being able to walk through and hear how it sounds increases understanding. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Aiden, and I'm doing an overview of The Things Seen and Unseen by Alex Torres. So she talks about how cities affect people's lives and people who are left out, not considered in the process of when planning cities, which that's when people are affected the most. The author reveals how problems like racism, poverty, and unfair treatment are often connected to how cities are planned and built. For example, building new roads or expensive homes/apartments can make life harder for minority and lower income groups. Overall, the author states that these cities need to be planned in a way that consider and include everyone. Its overall message is about making cities better for everyone who live there. In an article by Region Economic and Social Research Center, this problem is addressed. The author of this source highlights the need of collaboration among the stakeholders to address poverty by the proper city planning. The advocate for the policies that prioritize affordable housing and addresses for root causes of poverty. Both of these sources speak on the complexity of the city planning and how it intervenes with those living in poverty. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Giovanna Balboa, and the reading I chose is The Tao of Urbanism, Integrating Observation with Action, Non Ellen. And first, I want to talk about like my key takeaways from this. I really felt like it talked about like people and the connection of people and like the feelings that people have and the desires people have, like all that combined in one is what makes these amazing integrating cities that they want to make. And that's like the key takeaway is the people and their feelings and how it all comes together. And a source, like a line that really caught my attention was on page 45. Dual inert cities, it's true, do contain the seeds of their own destruction and little else, but vital cities have marvelous intimate abilities for understanding, communicating, contriving, and inventing what is required to combat their difficulties. Lively, diverse intensities contain the seeds of their own regeneration with energy to carry over for problems and needs outside themselves, which was from Jane Jacobs, 1961, page 585. This just like really goes with my point, like how people, like if it's so dull, like you're not gonna remember. Like in class we talked about like what memories we have with our senses from certain cities, and you're more likely to remember a city if if it's not as dull and it's something you enjoy basically. And it's just harder to be in a dull city and say you enjoyed it when you really probably don't remember it. But if you're in a town you really like you're gonna have all these amazing memories and all these like you want to keep going back and being there because of the environment and how you feel about it. And I just think that really stuck out to me. Like it's very true. Like we talked about, well, like for me, like it's San Antonio. Like San Antonio can keep going back there and going back because it's just so there's just so much life. Like there's these murals and everything, and the river walk. It's so colorful. Like all these different things that people have integrated that make it this amazing place. Especially like when they have the Fiesta Week. I think that was like 2 weeks ago. Like all these people come down, and it's like this huge party of all these people coming together, and it's just amazing. And yeah, and then another thing that caught my attention was by John Kurtzman on page 46 calls hope stories along with weaknesses and obstacles rather than being problems. However, the later contribute to building on assets. Similarly, similar to the way childcare experts recommend redirecting children's energies. I just thought that was very interesting. Like it talks about like instead of making these problems like so like our weak spots and everything, like we should push to make it better and get through these obstacles and not see them like that. Like it's what's gonna make us stronger in a way and bring the cities more together. And that kind of brings me into my outside source, which is this video where they're interviewing Mary Hamilton on integral cities, and she goes on to talk of all these little sections and how life is fully there. Like we beat ourselves up and like honeybees, we compare ourselves to honeybees a lot because they have like this whole like not I don't want to say program but like organization, and like they follow these, but like if they're not happy like us, like referring to us, we get depressed bees who don't enjoy the cities, right? And then we hear the voices of the cities, like that's who we need to be hearing and looking for because that's what's going to shape our cities into the what people want and what they desire and what's going to make the city more lively and involving with the people. Like involvement is a key thing. um she talks about breaking the bread together. Like if you bring people together, like food's the main thing. Like that's what she talks about. Like bringing food together really connects people. As it kind of reminds them of like being with family in a way, like when you're eating dinner or something, like stuff like that. And then the potential of integral cities and like how much they can improve a city and make it so lively, like I've been mentioning, and all these different sensations you'll get and everything. Like you just get this amazing feeling of involvement. And I just think that was like a really big takeaway from this week. Like the people, their feelings, and their involvement, and how it affects the city and what it can do to a city. And I just think that's what really stuck out to me for this week.
So I will be providing an overview of urban tomography from the Journal of Urban Technology. An innovative concept known as urban tomography uses technology to thoroughly record and examine urban activity. It boasts features including a multi-tile display interface and automatic archiving, and enables community documentation and research through wireless transmission of high-definition footage to servers. Pilot applications ranging from assessing bicycle parking to recording treatment sessions demonstrates its adaptability. Significant obstacles still exist though, such as privacy issues and network connectivity problems. Research is ongoing to improve network resilience and find a balance between data collection and privacy rights. The framework makes use of web-based interfaces and smartphone technology to provide a comprehensive understanding of urban dynamics. Subsequent advances are intended to maximize network efficiency and improve user experience. The potential for extensive urban documentation and research calls for careful consideration of privacy issues and efforts to ensure flawless data transmission. Optimizing effectiveness and usefulness also requires resolving network connectivity problems. All things considered, urban tomography offers a unique opportunity for urban study, and efforts are still being made to overcome obstacles so that it can reach its full potential. In the article, Single Look SAR Tomography of Urban Areas from MDPI, we look at a different type of tomography. TomoSAR, or Synthetic Aperture Radar Tomography, provides precise three-dimensional images of metropolitan areas, which has major applications in urban planning. TomoSAR makes it possible to accurately display buildings and terrain features in unoccupied regions, which is essential for determining land use, monitoring infrastructure, and doing environmental analysis. Recent developments include single-look TomoSAR with statistical regularization, improving resolution, and lowering uncertainty levels, in contrast to traditional techniques like cape and beam forming, which require multi-looking and reduce resolution. In comparison to comprehensive monitoring, this method delivers better accuracy and computing efficiency. It is proven using data from NASA and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory above Munich, Germany. TomoSAR improves urban planning efforts by getting around the drawbacks of traditional approaches and enables well-informed decision-making for sustainable development and catastrophe risk management. Looking back at our course learning objectives, we can clearly see the disparities and impacts that urban growth has on society. As Aiden mentioned, there is evident injustice and lack of consideration for the people who live in our cities. One instance that we have observed in our own city is a construction of companies right next to residences and communities without any thought given to the needs of those who reside there. Determining the image and components of a city, as Giovanna mentioned, would be another lesson learned. It's now simpler to notice elements of cities, including murals, intriguing experiences, scenery, energy, and even cuisine that might urge you to return. Your likability is determined by your perception of a city. We can now articulate the reasons behind changes in cities. As I mentioned with tomography, we can now record the modifications we make to the city and the logic behind them. Tyler gave the example of vegetation being planted. At present, it's simpler to see and comprehend why a park was situated in a particular location or why a certain stretch of trees came about.